If you just let me love you, baby. Just let me love you, baby. Ooh, yeah. If you just let me love you, baby. Ooh, yeah. If you just let me love you, baby. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If I could read your mind, so you love me, darling. If I could read your heart, so you'll never leave me. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. I give my life for you, baby. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I turn my world upside down. I turn my smiles back into frowns. I do anything and all, yeah. If you just let me love you, baby. Ooh, if you just let me love you, baby, baby, baby. Just let me love you, baby, baby, baby. Love you, baby, baby. Just let me love you, baby, baby, baby. Love you, baby, baby.
Good evening, it's Whoopi Goldberg here, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 virtual Bailey House Gala and Auction. And while we may not be able to be together tonight in person, we've still got an exciting program coming up for you. And of course, Bailey House's legendary auction is happening right now. In 2018, I received the Arts and Legacy Award. And tonight, I'm excited to share with you that artists Bob Gruen and Elizabeth Gregory Gruen will be here to receive that same award. And Debbie Harry will also join us to receive the Icon Award. Bailey House has been providing housing and other critical services to people living with HIV, AIDS, and other chronic illnesses for almost 40 years. Over the last year, they helped some of New York's most vulnerable people manage the COVID-19 pandemic. So tonight, don't forget to bid on the auction or text to donate to help Bailey House continue to do this good work. So now, kick back, grab a beverage, and enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Robbie Gordy, and I'm thrilled to once again be your auctioneer for the Bailey House Annual Gala and Benefit. Now, as Whoopi mentioned, I hope you've had a chance to grab a beverage. I frankly think that the best thing about being in our homes, if we can't gather together, at least there's always an open bar wherever you are. So I hope you're celebrating Bailey House the same way that I am. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight, but before we start, just a few small tidbits of housekeeping. Now, our auction has been online since March 11th, and it ends tomorrow, that's tomorrow, at noon. So maybe you've already been bidding, but if you haven't, don't worry, there is an incredible selection of art and experiences to make your life better. You do not want to miss them, and we also don't want to miss out on making the lives of all those impacted by the work of Bailey House. So check them both out. You're going to see a text to give number on your screen. We still got a lot of money to raise for the good work of Bailey House with our text to pledge campaign. We know that you're going to give generously, so have another drink, text to pledge, have another drink, text to pledge again. Now, just ahead, you're going to hear from our honorees, Bob Gruen and Elizabeth Gregory Gruen, as well as the legendary Debbie Harry. Now, you're going to hear about the impact of COVID on Bailey House and the remarkable job that they have done over this past year. I will be back to share some highlights from the auction, helped by my good friends at Gotham Cheer, who are always the best at lifting everyone's spirits. First, though, to help honor Bailey House's past, please help me welcome our first guest, Bailey Elizabeth Rogers.
Good evening, and welcome to Bailey House's 2021 virtual gala. It is such an honor to be here tonight. My name is Bailey Elizabeth Rogers. I'm a photographer and so excited to be a contributing artist to this year's auction. After hearing me introduce myself, you may be wondering if it's a coincidence that Bailey House and I share a name. We both have the incredible privilege of being named after one of the organization's founders and my grandfather, the Reverend Meade Minor Bailey. I never got the chance to meet my grandfather, but fortunately, my mom and grandma made sure he was always a part of my life. They wanted to be sure I felt like I really knew him and I understood the legacy I inherited when I was given his name. And so for as long as I can remember, I've been hearing his stories of a life spent serving others, especially those who were continually forgotten about or seen as unworthy. The downtrodden and disenfranchised, and individuals from marginalized communities who were ignored and left to suffer. He had a unique ability to recognize a person's needs and connect with them in a way that they felt safe and cared for, because they were. He would often show up at home after work with an unexpected guest, someone who desperately needed a hot shower, a real home-cooked meal, or needed a night off the streets in a comfortable bed with heat and a roof over their head. These individuals were mostly people he met as a chaplain at Bellevue Hospital and through his work with the Episcopal Mission Society. I may have never met him, but we are deeply connected. I love him dearly, and I feel blessed to carry his name. And I understand the responsibility that goes with that. When I think about my grandfather and Bailey House, I'm often reminded of lyrics from Jonathan Larson's Rent, when a group of people living with AIDS sing, "Will I lose my dignity? Will someone care?" Those words truly speak of what my grandfather's life work was all about and hit on the core of why Bailey House was started. To make sure these individuals were able to hold on to their dignity and help them to see that there were people out there who truly did care. And to this day, Bailey House has continued that mission. I know that if my grandfather could see Bailey House today, he would be so proud of what the small group of individuals he helped put together has become and how it has grown, especially the programs related to mental health, substance abuse, and assisting LGBTQ youth, all causes that were important to him. Bailey House was started in response to a public health crisis, and here we are almost 40 years later in a very similar position. Over the last year, the lessons learned during the early days have been applied in the organization's response to COVID-19. During tonight's program, you will hear more about that work from some of Bailey House's incredible essential frontline workers. I would like to thank you all for being here tonight. To those of you who attend this event year after year, thank you for your continued support. And to those of you joining us for the very first time, welcome to the Bailey House family. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of Bailey House, Andrew Comey.
On March 5th, you celebrated, partied, and raised money for Bailey House, not realizing that the world as we knew it was about to change and our lives with it. The first cases of COVID-19 had been identified in the US, but the magnitude of the pandemic and its impact were far from known. Once it became clear that a pandemic was upon us, Bailey House responded swiftly and decisively to meet the challenge. An organization founded to respond to a different pandemic, that of HIV/AIDS, has responding to crisis in its DNA, so that's what we did. Immediately shifting to remote work to keep our staff safe, setting up a robust COVID-19 screening system at all of our locations to keep residents safe, and offering testing to all members of our community. With the city in lockdown, case managers served our 658 residents remotely with an emphasis on wellness, both physical and emotional, and food security. We provided over 30,000 meals to our residents, even partnering with an artisanal pizzeria that donated hundreds of pies. We distributed thousands of pieces of PPE to our community. Our residents received presents and meals to celebrate the holidays safely and joyfully. The outcome of this swift response is a very low incidence of COVID infection, hospitalization, and death in our community. If this wasn't enough of an accomplishment, our pre-pandemic health and wellness outcomes remained stable, with viral load, PC show rates, housing placements, etc., all remaining at pre-pandemic levels. Rooted in grassroots advocacy, our community engaged in the historic social justice movement of Black Lives Matter, taking to the streets during the pandemic, masking up and social distancing, but making our voices heard. We launched Complete the Census and Get Out the Vote campaigns that resulted in the majority of our community completing the census and creating a voting plan. Finally, we opened a COVID-19 isolation hotel to provide a room, 3 meals daily, and a full range of healthcare and behavioral health services to over 1,300 homeless New Yorkers at risk for or positive for COVID-19. Now we are offering vaccines to our community and offering a weekly vaccine forum to provide information and answer questions to help people make an informed decision about getting vaccinated. I have never been so proud of the staff and residents of Bailey House as I've been during these 12 trying and sometimes devastating months. 30 years ago, Bailey House took on the AIDS epidemic with action, tenacity, creativity, and most of all, love, as we have done now and will continue to do in the face of this new pandemic. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's Robbie again. Andrew just shared with us some of the extraordinary ways that Bailey House has responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. So I think now would be a great time for me to remind you that you can donate at any time tonight if you're feeling inspired by texting Bailey to 44321. Once again, just text Bailey to 44321 to participate in our Text to Pledge and to give generously at whatever level you can. Now, Bailey House has always had an extraordinary grouping of items to bid on at our auction, Experiences in Art, Maybe you want to attend an exclusive taping of Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, win a Zoom meet and greet with Jane Pauley, the esteemed journalist, have her record your outgoing voicemail, enjoy one-of-a-kind custom millwork constructed by Dan Minsner in consultation with designer Alan Tanskley, and then of course there is the art. Lots and lots of amazing art. Now, you might just be looking around your apartment and saying, you know what, that live, laugh, love sign is just not going to cut it anymore. You've frankly lived and laughed and cried with it for too long. Well, don't worry, this is your chance to get some amazing art courtesy of Bailey House. Our friends at the New York School of the Arts and one of our lead sponsors, Betsy Lawrence, have once again donated some extraordinary pieces from names you know, names you've seen in museums, and names that you're going to be seeing in museums. It's such a great grouping of works by emerging, up-and-coming, and established artists. And they're all beautifully framed by our friends at Chelsea Frames. And you know that the Bailey House event actually started 33 years ago, older than some of the artists actually, contributing this year. It started as an art auction. So it's really fitting that most of the auction features are in this most unusual year. Now we're thrilled to recognize two of those artists with our first award tonight, and here to introduce them is the inimitable Alan Cumming. Alan?
Hello everyone, I'm Alan Cumming. Back in 2013, I was the first ever recipient of the Bailey House Arts and Legacy Award. And we always remember our first, don't we? I always love celebrating the Bailey House Gala and auction and all the important and powerful work that Bailey House does. So I'm really happy to be here with you tonight, even if here means something a little different this year. And of course, different for each and every one of us. But it's my great honour to introduce this evening's Bailey House honorees. First up are the recipients of the 2021 Arts and Legacy Award, which is also named in memory of Bailey House's longtime CEO, our much loved and deeply missed friend, Gina Quattrocchi. Legendary rock and roll photographer Bob Gruen and his wife, the superb artist Elizabeth Gregory Gruen, have been long and devoted supporters of the annual Gala and auction. Once again, we're proud and grateful to feature their sensational work in tonight's auction. Their creative genius and terrific talents could be eclipsed only by their profound and big-hearted contributions to furthering the work of Bailey House. They show up and they deliver year in, year out. It's my very great pleasure to welcome Bob and Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Bob Gruen.
And I'm Elizabeth Gregory Gruen.
We're very proud to have been chosen to receive this year's Gina Quattrocchi Arts and Legacy Award.
We live in Greenwich Village, which is the center of the HIV/AIDS crisis.
We saw firsthand how the creative community was devastated as we saw our friends and neighbors become ill.
We became aware that Bailey House was organizing to help transform the lives of some of the neediest people by providing the basics of housing, meals, and medical care.
The COVID crisis has only increased the calls for help. When we found out that we could contribute to their annual art auction, we were happy to send our work to help.
Every year, we have enjoyed attending the benefit party and seeing the donors and all the other artists' work.
This year, of course, all in-person events are canceled, but the art auction has moved online, so we urge you to please go and see all the offerings.
As artists, we hope to create works to communicate feelings and to bring joy to people's lives.
Bailey House works to bring joy back to people's lives, and we thank you for your meaningful work and for the opportunity to be part of Bailey House. Please browse through the online auction and bid early and bid often.
We hope you'll find something to inspire you and to help Bailey House continue its important work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Now, you know that both Bob and Elizabeth have contributed pieces to the auction this year, so you will want to be sure to check those out. They really are amazing. We have some other noteworthy returning artists who I want to mention. Now, we're grateful to welcome back the Herb Ritz Foundation, the Robert Mapplethorpe Foundation, Dwayne Michaels, Mark Beard, who is once again offering an exclusive portrait sitting. And since March is Women's History Month, we are pleased to honor some of the women artists, including Nicole Eisenman, who was just profiled in The New Yorker. You might have seen that. Kiana Parks, Nan Golden, Micheline Thomas. So remember, go to the auction sites, Artsy and Charity Buzz, and bid, bid, bid. That auction is going to be over before you know it, and you do not want to miss out. So let's once again take it back to our friends at Gotham Cheer.
Gotham Cheer was created to give back to the community through volunteer work and community service.
And to bring awareness to the homeless and disadvantaged LGBTQ youth.
Through the work we do, we've met some true heroes, and we've also met some frontline leaders.
And we would like to take this time to introduce some of them to you guys now.
Elvin, Eric, and Rose have provided hope and inspiration to the Bailey House clients for many, many years.
Now let's hear their stories.
If I were to introduce someone to the agency, two words come to mind: compassion and action. These two words for 18 years have resonated with what we do as an agency, from the top to the frontline staff who are on site every day. Their commitment through their action.
The residents in my program, they're diverse. However, they've been able to overcome a lot of trauma. By stabilizing their housing, we've given them hope. And that in itself speaks volumes.
Would you both agree that our clients have incredible resilience, considering all of the hurdles they have?
I believe they're fighters. I believe they, providing them with permanent housing is a domino effect. It allows them to continue to go on to health, education, and therefore, so now we've invigorated them with new hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, health is on housing, and a lot of our folks are really content, happy.
What makes me proud is knowing that 30 families remain housed, that we stopped the cycle, that we've shown them that from homelessness you become leaders, that there is possibilities out there. That's what makes me happy. When I hand them over the key to their apartment, that's it.
2020, of course, it's been a challenging year. But I must say, I was out there in March, April, trying to get food to these folks because a lot of them were afraid to come outside because of the epidemic, and so we were in the trenches, and we didn't actually miss a beat.
For me, it was quite challenging on a personal basis, only because I felt that there wasn't enough for me to go around.
Yeah.
Dealing day by day, I was able to break it down. We maintained daily contact, and I cannot take credit for this myself. I have a solid team that works with me in the Family Services Program. These clients trust us. They have confidence in us. They feel that the support, just by hearing us daily through those phone calls that we made daily, was sufficient to get them through it. We either help them process the news, the constant news of the COVID-19. We help them process it and say, maybe you need to turn it off just a little bit. You understand? And we were able to break that. So I feel great. I feel great that we're getting through this crisis. Again, 30 families with chronic homelessness, which means they have been in the system back and forth, is stabilizing their housing. So much so that I very rarely get any vacancies at all. Mm-hmm. I would say, out of the 30 families, at least half of them have been there 10 years. And more than a handful have been there for 20 years. So the success is the community that they themselves have built. Seeing graduations, seeing the success of stabilizing their housing and turning that particular housing into home, because they call it home.
Another success is one of my clients have actually moved out of the program and into independent housing, and to me that's what it's all about, for them to venture out on their own, being successful, some of them have part-time jobs or full-time jobs, that they were able to, venture into independent housing.
And
And
that's
to me, that's like
incredible.
amazing. Yeah, that's like,
That's incredible because what they look to us for is support.
yeah,
But we don't want to say it's long term. We want to be there for you. And to see them venture out to independent says we did the right thing.
absolutely. Yeah,
We did it
yeah.
right. We got it right. My greatest success is a mother who came to me with 2 children. She lost one of them to suicide. She was able to break through that trauma, complete her master's degree, is an educator with special needs children, and one of her boys, the boy that's left, has been accepted by a prestigious medical school. That to me is success.
That's amazing.
I personally donate to Bailey House because I'm in the inside, seeing what I do. I see the changes that are done via this program. I strongly believe in it, and any donation counts. So a big heart means we're changing their minds. As simple as that. Let's just have a big heart that will affect somebody's household with the most minute stuff, because what we're able to do is small. If we assist a client that comes in without their birth certificate, allowing them to do that is a small step into saying, we're going to stabilize your situation. So sometimes we don't have the fund. They don't have it for that birth certificate, which is only $25.30. But guess what? We were able to achieve that. With the budget that they have, our program is able to say, hey, we came in and helped you. As a program, I'm glad that we're able to change not so much their housing, but also affect their independent living skills. So yes, that's why I donate, because I know I'm making a change.
Over the years, I've donated just tons and tons of stuff to my extended family, which is Bailey House. So that level of support is needed, as Rose so well described, the inner workings and what it takes, what you don't see from the outside, that we do on a daily. So for us to continue to provide this level of support to those in need who otherwise, without a program like this, would be at risk for losing all of the above, I think it's just a wonderful thing if they can give.
It does make a difference. I mean, just like Rose said, those monies, go into what we do on every day and what other people actually take for granted. So, so we are actually making a difference and keep that money coming in, because we actually need it.
It's what we take for granted.
Exactly.
It's what we take for granted because we have our turkey. When we distribute those turkeys with the pantry bag, we know they're going to have a Thanksgiving as well as we do.
Absolutely.
When we see the faces of those kids getting the box, gift wrap for Christmas, we know we're doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
When we get them prepared for school, when they get them a good start off with their backpack and their school supplies, when you see their faces, just seeing those backpacks lined up, you know that they're getting a good start to something for school, for their education. So yeah, I feel passionate about what I do working with families. I really do.
Tonight, we've heard Bailey House staff who've talked a lot about what the last year has looked like. I think it's really a success story that nearly 40 years of their work has prepared them for. It's a moment like this during a live event that I would typically take to the stage and I would ask you just to give money generously from the bottom of your heart. From the bottom of your heart, because you care about the mission of Bailey House. Now tonight we're doing things a little bit differently. We're doing text to pledge. It's very easy, and you should know that every single dollar, as always, that you're donating via text message is going directly to helping some of the most marginalized individuals in our city. It's helping Bailey House, giving them the essential services that they need. So from helping to cover clients' rent to ensuring residents have access to food that they need to survive, to giving PPE to staff and residents alike, you can make a huge difference with your donation. You know, I think that we've all had real moments of struggle this past year, no matter what our circumstances, and nobody can do it alone. So what I would like you to think about right now when you're thinking about donating, if you're thinking about giving generously or giving generously again, is think about this. In this past year, someone at some point helped you out. They give you a hand up when you needed it. They encouraged you when you were feeling low. Maybe they covered your rent or gave you food or shelter or medical care when you really needed it. They helped you to get where you are right now, sitting here for Bailey House. So why not pay it forward? Do it for someone who helped you out. Do it for the incredible work of Bailey House. Text a pledge tonight. Give generously from the bottom of your hearts. Whenever you can, every dollar makes such a difference. We can all do this together. And before we throw it to Alan Cumming, who is often on stage to help with the fundraising, let's go back to Gotham Cheer one last time.
4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Donate. Text it. 4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, it's me again. If you didn't know much about Bailey House before, then I'm glad you've had the opportunity to learn about the extraordinary work they do, including the remarkable ways they've helped their clients manage through the COVID pandemic. Looking back a few years, this event first started in 1988. Now, in that same year, the movie Hairspray came out, and one of its stars was an unforgettable downtown musical icon by the name of Deborah Harry. By then, Debbie was already a rock legend. As lead vocalist and songwriter for Blondie, with her signature white blonde hair and commanding, confident fierceness, she was a musical pioneer who paved the way for a generation of women who followed in her fabulous footsteps. In addition, she has also been an outspoken advocate for people with HIV and AIDS, lending her time and talent to raise awareness and desperately needed funds for so many in need. It is my pleasure to introduce the one, the only, and the first ever Bailey House Icon Award recipient, Deborah Harry.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Harry, also known as Blondie. I'm sorry we can't be together in person tonight, but I'm happy to be awarded the first ever Icon Award from Bailey House. I'm joining a long list of luminaries that have been recognized by them, including tonight's other honorees, longtime friends, Bob Gruen, the legendary photographer, and his wife, the artist, Elizabeth Gruen. Bailey House was born out of a gritty, uncompromising, bold 1980s activism, the first organization in the country to provide housing to homeless people with AIDS. And today, a leader in providing housing to vulnerable homeless New Yorkers living with HIV and other chronic illnesses. Bailey House also has signature programs for single parents and their families, veterans, and LGBT youth. Over the last year, we've recognized the essential and frontline workers and social justice. These values have long been what Bailey House has been doing for decades, especially with housing and access to health care, which of course included, as you know, their COVID response. But this night is a celebration of creative communities, and I'm very pleased to be a part of it. The Bailey House auction started in 1988, the same year as the original Hairspray was filmed. It started as an art auction, and this year includes luxury home decor packages. In addition to appreciating artists and creative industry, they are very proud of being first responders at the beginning of the AIDS crisis and are leaders in the fight for social justice. I want to thank them for awarding me as an icon and want to remind you to bid on auction items and to text your help to Bailey House so they can continue their life-saving work. Take care, be good, maybe.
Well, for a virtual event, this has actually been a very special night, thanks to you. It's now my job to remind and encourage everyone to check out the Bailey House auction. It's happening right now on both Artsy and Charity Buzz. Please take a look. And if you don't have the links already, both are easily available on the Bailey House homepage at baileyhouse.org. That's baileyhouse.org. The auction closes tomorrow at noon, and that is noon Eastern Standard Time. And how about this for a deal? If you want to take me home with you, there's a really amazing cabaret dressing room portrait of moi by my dear friend Amy Arbus. You can see it on your screen now. Come on, don't be shy. Go ahead and bid for me. You are most willkommen to do so. See what I did there? And while you're bidding, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for your spectacular generosity and for being such a fantastic audience tonight. I get to throw the programme over to my dear chum Sammy Joe at Club Cumming. He's spinning a short set for you there. Thank you again so much. And Sammy Joe, take it away, babes.
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I could take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just the way you like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar, ooh, I'm levitating. The Milky Way is separating, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I believe the truth for me. I feel it in our energy. I see it written in the stars. We can go wherever, so let's do it now or never, baby. Nothing's ever too far. Glitter in the sky, glitter in our eyes, shining just the way we are. I feel like we're forever every time we get together. No, we're never gonna be apart.